Bonjour Jagdish.
Bonjour Caroline, bonjour à tous. Alors merci, vous pouvez rejoindre nous pour suivre la séance de la PNQ. Jagdish Joypol, bonjour.
Bonjour Priscilla, Caroline, bonjour, tout bon auditeur et internaute, bonjour également.
Alors PNQ, leader de l'opposition Jagdish à l'Assemblée nationale aujourd'hui, accès le High Level Committee, le COVID-19. Xavier Duval qui pour questionne Premier ministre, il a envie de connaître combien de fois le comité qui est présidé par Pravin Jugnauth lui-même, fin Zwen, depuis le 1er mars dernier jusqu'ici, et si bonne décision qui fin prend, fin enregistrée, Xavier Duval peut aussi demander à Pravin Jugnauth pour déposer une copie de ban document qu'il y est.
Oui, Priscilla, le High Level Committee sur le COVID-19 est institué le 31 janvier 2020 comme un premier cas de COVID-19, de coronavirus, qui commence à apparaître en Chine et le monde, l'Organisation mondiale de la santé surtout, qui commence à inquiéter. Alors donc voilà, le comité finit plusieurs fois en 2020, différentes décisions il prend. D'ailleurs, confinement, quand il décidait pour la première fois, c'était un petit peu une surprise pour la population. Mais là, ensuite, cette année-ci, donc depuis le mois de mars, le 10 mars, finena une annonce du Premier ministre, donc Pravin Jugnauth, pour dire que le pays piale également, encore une fois, en confinement. Et donc, le comité Inbizin certainement joindre, il paraît possiblement le 6 mars pour prendre une telle décision, parce que depuis le 5 mars, Priscilla, finira encore un nouveau cas qui nous comparaît, et là, la situation peut amplifier et peut un relâchement au niveau de l'épidémie. Et là, nous pouvons connaître exactement quel est l'objectif de sa question de Xavier Duval, qui fait lui peut demander combien de fois le comité Injoine et qui prend une décision. Maintenant, surtout si les discussions finissent enregistrées, c'est-à-dire ça fait partie d'un procès verbal.
Alors sinon, peut-être envie qu'on ait un petit peu de paramètres dans lesquels le comité peut opérer. Alors, Jagdish, sinon par rapport à l'ambiance à l'Assemblée nationale aujourd'hui, la séance pour faire, comme on nous connaît, en l'absence de Paul Béranger, de Rajesh Bhagwan et Arvind Boulel, donc qui finit suspend par le speaker la semaine dernière. Du côté du MMM, il n'y a pas question de excuses. Je peux privilégier une action légale. Donc, qui forme ça pour prendre, nous pas encore connaître. Et du côté du Parti travailliste, donc Arvind Boulel de ce côté tient annoncé dans un premier temps qu'il est pour présente ses excuses. Mais pour l'heure, Jagdish, donc, il paraît qu'il n'a pas perdu de l'avant et puis envisage une injonction selon dernière information. D'ailleurs, Arvind Boulel pour faire une conférence de presse, pour animer une conférence de presse à 13h30 aujourd'hui.
Oui, c'est un débat de rares fois dans l'histoire parlementaire du pays qui remonte depuis 1886. Un débat de rares fois coûte vraiment 3 députés, 3 doyens de l'Assemblée nationale, plus anciens, parce que Paul Béranger, il est là depuis 1982, excepté 87, il n'est pas élu, mais depuis continuellement, il reste au Parlement. Rajesh Bhagwan a environ 7 mandats, Arvind Boulel également presque pareil, donc 3 parlementaires qui font partie de la fer de lance de l'opposition. Et là, le propriétaire un peu, pas autre l'absence, comment ça pour passer au niveau de questions qui sont posées par les autres députés au Parlement.
Et nous basculons tout de suite du côté de l'Assemblée nationale.
Announcements, none. Papers have been laid. Questions?
Leader of the opposition.
The question is addressed to the Honourable Prime Minister, Minister of Defence, Home Affairs, External Communications, Minister for Rodrigues, Out Islands, and Territorial Integrity. whether in regard to the high-level committee on COVID-19, chaired by himself, he will state the number of times it has met since the 1st March 2021 to date, indicating if the decisions taken thereat are henceforth recorded, and if so, table a copy thereof.
Mr. Speaker, sir, before I reply to this private notice question, I would like to convey my sincere condolences to the families afflicted by the demise of their close relatives due to COVID-19. On 30th of January 2020, the Emergency Committee of the World Health Organization declared the outbreak of novel coronavirus, COVID-19, as a public health emergency of international concern, as there were cases confirmed outside China. Subsequently, the High-Level Committee on COVID-19 was instituted by Cabinet on 31st of January 2020 under my chair to monitor the situation regarding the outbreak of the new coronavirus and the precautionary measures to be taken to safeguard the population against any related health risks. The High-Level Committee is also mandated to take urgent policy decisions based on recommendations of relevant ministries, departments, whenever so required. Since that day, the High-Level Committee has been monitoring the evolution of the pandemic at local and international levels and has provided a platform for rapid sharing of key information amongst different ministries, departments, and other stakeholders to enable a coordinated and scaled-up national response against the pandemic. Following the detection of the positive cases of COVID-19 on 18th March 2020 in Mauritius, the High-Level Committee met on a daily basis until the situation was under control. Thereafter, the High-Level Committee was meeting on a weekly basis. With the resurgence of COVID-19 in the local community on 5th of March 2021, the High-Level Committee has resumed its daily meetings. Mr. Speaker, sir, the High-Level Committee is composed of, amongst others, of the Deputy Prime Minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Regional Integration and International Trade, the Minister of Finance, Economic Planning and Development, the Attorney General, the Minister of Labour, Human Resources, Development and Training, the Minister of Health and Wellness, the representative of WHO in Mauritius, Dr. Gu, the Technical Advisor at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, Commissioner of Police, and other senior officials and advisors of ministries and departments concerned. Other ministers and officers are co-opted as and when needed. Mr. Speaker, sir, since 1st of March 2021 to date, the High-Level Committee has met on 29 occasions. I wish to highlight that the High-Level Committee has been mandated by Cabinet to coordinate and monitor actions taken by ministries, departments, and other stakeholders in relation to our national response to COVID-19. Cabinet is apprised on a weekly basis of the prevailing situation and the actions taken by the concerned institutions, and policy decisions are taken by Cabinet as appropriate. I also wish to underline that in view of the resurgence of the virus and the need for expedient action, the High-Level Committee may be called upon to take urgent policy decisions for the protection of the population, and which are subsequently ratified by Cabinet. For instance, issues pertaining to closing of borders, imposing temporary restrictions of movement, preventive and sanitary measures, and the demarcation of red zones are some of the decisions taken by the high-level committee and subsequently approved by Cabinet. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to emphasize that the high-level committee, being a coordinating body, each minister forming part of the committee is required to ensure that recommendations pertaining to his ministry and departments falling in his portfolio are documented and submitted to Cabinet for further consideration and approval. All decisions taken at the level of Cabinet are recorded and transmitted to relevant ministries for necessary actions at their end. Hence, the need for having formal minutes of proceedings of meetings of the high-level committee does not arise. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the face of the overwhelming threatening risk and danger to the health, safety, security, and life of our entire population, it is crucially important to expediently and promptly take all necessary measures to face, resist, counter, and overcome these risks and dangers. We are in a situation where we need the support and collaboration of one and all. It is a time when national solidarity and patriotism are vital and should prevail over all other considerations. The government and our health authorities are on high alert, and we are working tirelessly to keep the virus at bay and prevent its further spread amongst the population. The government has all along been guided in its decisions by its duty to protect the population. In this respect, we have taken into consideration, amongst others, scientific advice and guidelines of the WHO. Mr. Speaker, sir, I once again urge the entire population to act as responsible citizens and follow the advice and guidance issued by the health authorities in order to protect ourselves and others. I would also like to seize this opportunity to once again thank all persons, organizations, and partner countries for the valuable assistance they are extending to Mauritius in this new battle against the COVID-19. Before ending, I would like to once more express my gratitude to all our frontliners for their commitment, dedication, courage, and professionalism, including, first and foremost, our doctors, nurses, personnel of the contact tracing teams, police officers, employees in other essential services, and all those who are helping to keep the country going in these difficult times. I am confident that together we can and we will fight this invisible enemy and break the chain of transmission. I am convinced that the Mauritian patriotic spirit will prevail and we will once again defeat COVID-19. The government will, in the national interest, do whatever it takes to protect and safeguard the health of the population and save lives and livelihood, which remain our topmost priority. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I take it, therefore, there are still no minutes, no records of discussions and decisions taken by this very important committee. So let me ask straight away the Prime Minister concerning the re-entry of the virus into the local community. The Prime Minister is aware of the huge sacrifices made by the population. So can the Prime Minister tell the House and the nation how it is that despite all these sacrifices, the virus re-entered the community, and if so, when, and at what time, and when was he made aware of that?
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have taken a number of measures to contain the virus when it first was discovered in Mauritius. And all the measures that we have taken, in fact, brought us to a situation where for quite some time we were COVID safe. Now, unfortunately, the virus has been again discovered. It has contaminated people, and so far we are not able to establish exactly how this new wave has happened. But of course, at the level particularly of health, we are trying to keep on our investigation in order to try to establish how this has happened. So we are not, I don't think we are the only country in the world where this is happening. We have seen in so many other countries where there has been not only first, second, third wave, fourth wave. So it is something which is, as I say, an invisible enemy, and we need to do whatever it takes, again, to be able to contain this virus and to spread its contamination.
Speaker, our borders are closed, unlike most other countries. Can I ask the Prime Minister when and whether he was made aware of one Mr. Patient R, who returned from treatment overseas and was treated at Suyak Hospital, and in so doing, at the end of January, in fact, around 19th of January, this patient R contaminated 3 officers of the health service, and therefore, since January, we have 3 local cases in Mauritius.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think one has to be at least raisonnable. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition has asked a general question on the high-level committee, which I'm chairing. Now he's talking about patient R. I don't have the record, especially not everything is recorded in my mind, about all the cases with regard to patients who have been admitted either to quarantine or to treatment centers. So if he has such information, he should have addressed a specific question to the minister concerned, and I'm sure the minister concerned would have provided him with all the information. Who is patient R? I don't know who is patient R. There have been so many people who have been admitted in quarantine. There have been so many people who have been admitted for treatment. So
I'd like to tell the Prime Minister that patient R therefore traveled to Mauritius, and he himself, in an address to the nation on the 9th of March, told us that the virus was here since February. His minister said since January. Dr. Go said before January. So there's still confusion in the minds of the population and apparently in the minds of government. So why did he say, on what basis did he say, beginning of February in a national televised address, if he doesn't know anything about it?
Well, I think you have to be careful when you say I don't know anything. If you don't know anything, don't think that others don't know anything. Huh? No, you be careful. Mr. Speaker, sir, in my address, I have made several addresses to the nation, and I've spoken also on many occasions in press conferences. I cannot recall having mentioned a case. I have never, I cannot recall. I say I need to check. I have never recalled having made mention of a case of patient R. But this is your question. It's about patient R. And I should know, and as if I should know that the patient R came to Mauritius. This is what you said in your question. So I'm replying to your question. Otherwise, rephrase, put questions which are appropriate.
Excited.
Now, patient R, to my mind, I cannot recall having mentioned this case. Of course, I will check my previous address, which I have made to the nation and in press conference about patient R, and if need be, I will make a statement with regard to patient R.
I said he mentioned patient R. I said that in a press conference to the nation, you said that the virus was here since early February, and that your address was on 9th of March. So on what basis? Don't get excited, huh? On what basis did you reply? Did you give that information?
Don't get excited, you. I am not getting excited. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rely on information that are being provided to me by experts, by doctors, by those who have investigated and have tried to find out when approximately, because there is no certainty in this, when approximately the virus could have entered the country. Now, I did make an address, and I did say in my address that according to information that we have gathered so far, the virus could have been here in circulation since February. This I said, and I maintain what I said. Now, in the light of the evolution of the situation, the monitoring, the investigation that is still being carried out, especially by health and others, I hope that we will be able to find out who is the patient zero, the first person who has transmitted this virus and has brought it in the country.
Speaker, my last question on this subject is the fact that these 3 local cases arose in late January, and this was hidden from the population, which carried on having its normal business, and a number of public meetings were held without any precaution. But that is that, Mr. Speaker. I want to move on, Mr. Speaker, to the question of housing. To the question of hygiene. The Prime Minister must surely be aware of the dramatic infection rate amongst health workers. I think more than 40 health workers have been infected with COVID over the last few weeks. And also, the same thing has happened now to patients going to dialysis and going to hospital. Will he urgently ask his minister to review the protocol and the discipline in our hospitals so that this stops right now and doesn't occur in the future, because one person has regrettably died today?
Again, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is asking me to tell the Minister of Health. He should have directed the question to the Minister of Health, and then he would have obviously had the relevant information. Now, I will certainly take objection to the statement made by the Leader of the Opposition that we have been hiding cases since January. We have never hidden any information. Since the very beginning last year of COVID-19 in Mauritius, we have always acted in a transparent manner. We have always given information to the public. In fact, this is a repeat today. Last year, the opposition was saying the same thing. They were saying that we are hiding. There are thousands of cases. Unfortunately, Honorable Boulel is not here. He was in his, I think in questions and PNQ, they were saying that there was thousands of cases already, contaminated people. So many people are dying, they are going to die. And yet, this was false. Now again today, Honourable Leader of the Opposition is saying that we are hiding information. Every day, Mr. Speaker, sir, there is a press conference. Our communication team are providing all information to the public. And in fact, so far, I must say, we have communicated number of tests that have been carried out, number of people who have been contaminated, number of people who have been admitted to treatment centers and in quarantine also. And this, not okay, you need to know because you don't know. Why okay? When I answer, you say okay?
No,
now you understand? Yes, I don't.
No cross-talking.
Be assured, I don't take Xanax to keep cool. I am already cool. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I hope the Honourable Leader of the Opposition doesn't make those kind of frivolous, I would say frivolous criticisms. You can criticize the government on other things, but don't say that we are hiding information. And if you say so, prove it. Show to us that there have been cases and that we have not declared to we have not communicated to the public.
Would ask the Prime Minister very seriously, himself or his Minister of Health, to come with a statement later concerning case of Charles Nurse Boudou, Dr. Otaram, and Mr. Babulal, all three working at New Sirak Hospital. Tell us what happened to them, and then we will find out what happened. I may be wrong, but I may also be right, and you may be wrong. Mr. Speaker, I'll go on now to the next question, which concerns vaccines. Everybody going to a vaccine center this morning will have found out that there are no more vaccinations in Mauritius because the vaccines have ended almost yesterday. Last few days, we've done only about 4,000 vaccines instead of the 12,000 that was wanted. Now, when definitely are we going to get the next vaccine? Is it on the 15th of April for Sinopharm? Can you confirm? Or others or after, please?
Mr. Speaker, sir, let me say, first of all, I don't know whether the Honourable Leader of the Opposition is living in a world where he is aware, where you are living in Mauritius and you're confided to only Mauritius. You don't know what is happening elsewhere. You should watch TV, watch the news. Actuellement, Monsieur le Président, non seulement les laboratoires ne peuvent pas fournir et satisfaire les commandes, non seulement ça, mais il y a une guerre des vaccins. Il y a des pays qui sont en train de s'approprier autant de vaccins qu'ils peuvent. J'espère que le leader de l'opposition va s'informer qu'est-ce qui se passe entre l'Union européenne et l'Angleterre. Il y a même des blocages. Il y a un pays dans l'Union européenne qui a même bloqué une commande de vaccins qui a été commandée par l'Australie. Mais a bloqué cette commande. Il y a des mesures qui sont prises, enfin, qui allaient être prises, je ne sais pas si ça a été déjà prise, pour empêcher des laboratoires à fournir d'autres pays. Mais listen, let me inform you. We are talking about vaccine. Hey.
Honorable Leader of the Opposition, bear with the Prime Minister. Allow him to answer.
He has to cool down. And you are turning round because you are not aware. I have to make you... Je dois faire votre éducation. Je dois vous informer. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? He's not aware what is happening elsewhere. And I must say, so far, thanks to India, we have been able to get AstraZeneca and Covaxin. And I need not go into details of so many vaccines that we have. And this opposition, vous savez qu'est-ce qu'ils ont dit, Monsieur le Président? Cette opposition, en particulier un membre, il a été dire qu'on est en train de servir Maurice comme cobaye pour un vaccin qui est fabriqué en Inde. Hein? Et ils viennent parler de vaccin.
Order. Be careful.
Et ils ont le culot de venir parler. On n'a pas assez de vaccins. Maintenant, Monsieur le Président, this same opposition, when we started vaccination campaign, what they were saying? Be careful. Don't sign consent form. Don't do vaccine. It is not WHO approved. You don't know what are going to be the consequences. Ça va rester. Ça va rester, ça va être avec eux pendant longtemps, Monsieur le Président. But then, you know, Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't. We have a duty, we have a responsibility, and we are.
Order!
He wants to go home. J'entends le leader de l'opposition dire qu'il veut aller à la maison. I don't know. But, so, Mr. Speaker, sir, right now, the vaccination campaign is going on. We are going to receive, and again, I must thank the government of the Republic of China, the People's Republic of China, for donating 100,000 of Sinopharm vaccine to us. Bien sûr, Monsieur le Président. Je dois dire, honnêtement, mais ouais, oui, ouais, je dois dire,
I will give you some extra time.
je dois dire,
But allow the Honorable Prime
je dois dire, à part les vaccins qu'on a eus, AstraZeneca de l'Inde, Covaxin de l'Inde, là, on va recevoir les vaccins de Sinopharm de la Chine. Nous avons eu une petite quantité de l'initiative de COVAX, c'est 24 000 quelque chose, donc qu'on a reçu. Évidemment, à ce stade, on n'a pas de garantie ferme qu'on aura d'autres vaccins. On est en train de faire des démarches. Et j'espère que ces démarches vont aboutir et qu'on aura donc d'autres vaccins en temps et lieu pour pouvoir continuer à poursuivre notre campagne de vaccination. The leader of the opposition has mentioned 3 cases of health workers, apparently. Again, il pose des questions spécifiques qui concernent la santé. La santé a les informations, la santé peut vous répondre. Posez la question au ministre concerné et il va vous donner les informations.
Speaker, I thought I was dealing with a responsible Prime Minister, but I found that I am not. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to ask the Prime Minister, had we pre-ordered the vaccine as we told him months ago, we would not be in this situation. It is because of incompetence, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'll move on now to a very serious subject. That is burial. Burial. Now, I've looked at the World Health Organization, the protocol, the guidance on burial, where it says that even if you die of COVID, there is no reason to prevent your relatives from paying their last respects to you. Looking at the body is very, very important. It's not political, huh? It's very important. I myself would be very sad if someone from my family died, I could not look at the body. And so I'm going to ask the Prime Minister, why is it that we don't follow the WHO protocol here and that we do not show the body, the face, to the persons, the immediate family? And if we will not have this change and have the protocol change so that we can follow WHO protocol, World Health Organization protocol, at least in this case.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir.
Quiet. Order.
Mr. Speaker, sir.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, sir. We have devised this protocol regarding.
Honorable Abbas Mahmoud, be careful.
We have devised this protocol since last year when the first case of COVID appeared and where the first, unfortunately, first death also with regard to COVID. The protocol, of course, is always under review, and, but it is what it is because we have taken into consideration all necessary precautions so that we don't have cases of further contamination, even in case of burial. Now, a leader of the opposition is criticizing us because he said we should have ordered vaccines months ago. I listened, pre-ordered, whatever you call it, pre-order, order. We have, since the very first day, we have got in touch with many of the well-known laboratories. We have ordered, we have tried to get vaccines on the very first day, Mr. Speaker, sir. And unfortunately, they were not in a position to supply. Now, the contradiction of the opposition. At one time, now they are saying we should have ordered long time ago. And then in the PNQ of the leader of the opposition, what was he saying? We should only use vaccines that are recognized and certified by WHO. So this is the very contradiction. They don't know which argument they will need to put forward. But I can assure the country that we are doing whatever it takes. We have been in touch in terms of the our mission also in different countries and with regard to the requests made to laboratories manufacturing those vaccines. And we hope, let's hope that we will be able to get vaccines in the future.
Speaker, the country is in such a mess because we have the Prime Minister so confused. Let me, Mr. Speaker, the fines have been increased to 500,000 rupees, one of the highest in the world, because there has been indiscipline, but the fines are excessive. I'd like to ask the Prime Minister whether he has read l'Express newspaper, a photo of a minister talking to the Minister of Health without any precaution, and whether he has taken disciplinary and legal action against that minister. I will table this, Mr. Speaker. It's a copy of a newspaper.
Mr. Speaker, sir, he wants to set good example. Look at the way he's wearing his mask. Look at the way. Look at the way. But you, below the nose. Below the nose.
I think both of you.
Cover your nose, please. Cover. This is. Now you cool it down again. No, Mr. Sir, this is not serious. Maybe leader of the opposition wants to joke. The issue of sanitary measures which have been requested. In fact, we have discussed at length, and the same precautions have to be taken by each and every one. This is not new. We have been advocating that since last year. In fact, we are saying that, unfortunately, I must admit that when we came to a situation where we were COVID safe, and for quite a long time, we didn't have any single case of local contamination. People started to take it easy. I must say, each and every one, we thought that, now we are not going to have the virus. But unfortunately, it happened again. And therefore, our advice to each and every one, not only ministers, but each and every one, is that we must take the basic sanitary precautions with regard to wearing of masks, sanitizing, social distancing, and so on.
Mr. Speaker, I have two last questions. I don't know whether there is time for my colleagues to intervene.
No, it's only
Okay.
5 minutes.
I'd like to ask the Prime Minister firstly, given the huge sacrifices, just two questions, Mr. Speaker. Huge sacrifices made by the nation. Will he promise to this House today and to the nation that there will be no more passe-droit? That we will not get no more passe-droit? No more delegations from overseas coming here, there, from this and that country at the time when we need to be COVID-free. No more private jets coming and landing and crews going and looking for bedrooms in the night. And no more film crews coming without observing the strict quarantine. This, I think, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister and the government owes this to the hugely sacrificing nation and the nation.
Put your question now.
The question was at the beginning. Will he promise? That was the question, Mr. Speaker.
Well, Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, there is no passe-droit. I don't know what he means by passe-droit, but there is no passe-droit. We have acted each time en tenant compte de la situation et l'évolution de la situation. Par exemple, the decision, for example, to close further our borders is because we started to have local cases. Now, he's saying there should be no delegations coming. I know what he's aiming at. Well, I know the recent delegation coming. Quel mal élevé.
Leader of the opposition.
You should withdraw that. I am not a mal élevé.
Leader of the opposition. Don't take lessons from others on that question. No. Withdraw that word.
Because I'm a Creole, I cannot ask a question.
Leader of the opposition, please.
I withdraw it, Mr. Speaker. But the Prime Minister also should not make these insinuations. I withdraw it. It's withdrawn.
His question, the leader of the opposition, he says, not to allow delegations coming and visiting us. I am replying to this. The last official ministerial delegation who came to Mauritius was led by His Excellency the Minister of Foreign Affairs of India. And he came, and we know what has been toutes sortes de rumeurs, d'allégations, de faussetés qui ont circulé. They have been saying, some of them, I'm not saying you. I am not saying you. I am saying there are some people who have alleged that this is how Mauritius has been contaminated. It is not the case. It is certainly not the case. And then these are official delegations. It's not the first time that the delegation led by a minister is coming to visit us. There has been the Minister of Foreign Affairs for Japan, who has been. The President of Seychelles has been to Mauritius. And then, Mr. Speaker, sir, around the world, even though there is this pandemic, there are still heads of state, ministers. When there is a need to travel, of course they do travel. And of course, I was coming to that, we have devised very strict protocol to ensure that there is minimum risk. And those protocols are applied, and we have seen to it that, and I can confirm that there has been no issue with regard to those delegations who have visited us.
Time over. The table has been advised that PQB 131 will be replied by the Honourable Minister of Economy. PQB 132 will be replied by Honourable Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology. PQB 134, PQB 142 and PQB 143 will be replied.
Voilà donc pour la séance de la PNQ ce matin à l'Assemblée nationale, axée justement le COVID Committee. Pravin Jugnauth qui t'y répond à la question de Xavier Duval, dit que le COVID Committee fut institué par le cabinet le 31 janvier 2020 et donc pour prendre connaissance justement de la situation et de l'impact du coronavirus dans différents secteurs. Et Pravin Jugnauth a dit que c'était aussi une plateforme pour permettre le partage de l'information. Dans un premier temps, le comité type joindre quotidiennement et ensuite une fois par semaine. Mais avec la résurgence de la COVID-19, le comité fin recommence joindre tous les jours. Et Pravin Jugnauth fin aussi donne nom de différents ministres et autres partenaires qui font partie de ce comité-là. Il dit que le comité fin joindre 29 fois depuis le 1er mars 2021 et elle dit qu'il y a une décision qui fin prend par le comité fin par la suite approuvée par le cabinet. Elle dit aussi que toute décision qui fin prend fin enregistrée et envoyée par le ministère concerné. Il dit que le gouvernement fin guidé par ses tâches pour protéger la population. Donc, fin aussi suivre ban conseil entre autres de l'OMS. Mais Jagdish Joypal, parmi les questions qui intéressent Xavier Duval, c'est surtout l'absence de procès verbal, mais aussi façon qui le COVID-19 fin ressurgir.
Oui, parce que la question, le private notice question de Xavier Duval, qui a accès autour, est-ce qu'il y a un procès verbal officiel du Comité national COVID-19? Et là, le Premier ministre, qu'on peut dire, c'est président, il n'y a aucun procès verbal officiel concernant les travaux, c'est-à-dire une réunion du comité, mais par contre, une décision qui prend par le comité, puis channel, puis dirige vers différents ministères, différents corps étatiques, institutions, et qui cooptent dans le comité pour être capable au moins. Donc, je dissémine l'information là, je partage ces décisions qu'il peut prendre et en même temps, donc, sensibilise l'opinion publique, sensibilise la population à travers c'est-à-dire moyen de communication. Oui, l'aspect le plus important également, c'est que Xavier Duval il demande le Premier ministre comment se fait-il que le Covid-19 ait un retour, une nouvelle vague, une seconde vague de l'épidémie ou de la pandémie dans le pays. Et là, il mentionne un cas qui il demande le Premier ministre, un voyageur qui retourne dans le pays en janvier, il nomme ça comme le patient R. Alors, il fait un traitement à l'hôpital de Souillac pour le Covid-19, mais en même temps, il y a une contamination de 3 membres du personnel médical de l'hôpital de Souillac. Alors là, le Premier ministre peut dire, il pas rappel, lui personnellement, mais seulement s'il y a une question supplémentaire qui est posée au ministre de la Santé, capable de tout le détail, l'autre traitement qui le patient, il gagné. Et par rapport à l'évolution de la situation, le Premier ministre, donc Pravin Jagna, dit pour bien continuer l'évolution de la situation, suivre également déterminer comment, c'est-à-dire le patient zéro, il passé, alors donc d'après lui, il peut maintenir qu'il y a l'enquête qui est en cours et donc ce travail-là peut continuer. Concernant le personnel médical, alors est-ce qu'il finit une tentative, Xavier Duval, pour casser la vérité, pour pas dire qu'il y a un membre du personnel médical fin affecté, fin contaminé, et si finalement le patient R et qui fin soigné, et là, le Premier ministre peut dire absolument qu'il n'y a aucune raison pour avancer qui finit une tentative de cacher l'information. Et il rappelle que le comité de communication peut joindre la presse tous les jours, tous les après-midi, pour communiquer toute une décision qui est là concernant donc l'évolution de l'épidémie.
Alors, l'autre question, Jagdish, porte le vaccin. Donc, le Premier ministre qui finit dire qu'il a une garantie ferme pour gagner l'autre vaccin, mais démarche toujours en cours.
Oui, le Premier ministre peut faire état de la guerre des vaccins qui est en cours dans différents pays. Il peut citer le cas de l'Union européenne et l'Angleterre qui sont en désaccord autour de vaccins qui peut produire, mais seulement de maintenir qui nous c'est-à-dire nous avons des vaccins escalaires qui sont capables de continuer, mais il n'y a aucune garantie si nous pouvons continuer un vaccin à l'avenir, sauf qu'il y a une donation de la Chine, de Sinopharm, qui fait une donation de 100 000 vaccins qui peuvent arriver. Et là, Pravin Jagnat rappelle que nous déjà fait une gain en donation de laine à un lot de vaccins de AstraZeneca, nous faisons un Covaxin et nous aussi Covax qui peut arriver environ 24 000 doses. À ce stade, nous répétons, Pravin Jagnat dire qu'il n'y a aucune garantie ferme d'avoir d'autres vaccins, mais seulement une démarche peut continuer, le gouvernement peut get toute bonne possibilité. Et là, les fins accusent un petit peu l'opposition. Et Priscilla, qui dans le passé, depuis l'année dernière, je peux dire, bien prudent, il faut dépasser le consent form, mais seulement maintenant, l'opposition peut dire, au contraire, bien de l'avant, aller plus vite avec c'est-à-dire avec le pre-order, c'est-à-dire la commande des vaccins, donc pour capable de satisfaire les besoins du pays.
Alors, l'autre question, Jagdish, qui fait intérêt Xavier Duval, c'est concernant l'enterrement de victimes de la COVID-19. Alors, l'ITIP demandé qui fait pas suivre le protocole de l'OMS pour permettre à ban proche de ban victime pour capable get figure justement de ce ban proche qui fait décédé.
Oui, question très sensible et d'ailleurs Xavier Duval peut dire qu'il n'y a rien de politique, c'est une question de sensibilité, c'est la famille, ma famille qui est concernée quand il y a un décès. Donc, je t'envie, c'est-à-dire pas organise funérailles, mais au moins gagner une dernière image, une dernière vue d'une victime du Covid-19. Alors, donc, là, Xavier Duval peut faire mention qu'il y a un protocole de l'Organisation mondiale de la santé qui n'est pas nécessairement interdit totalement et pas l'accès, mais seulement la décision pour un parent rapprocher avec quelqu'un qui est décédé. Mais Pravin Jagnat peut dire nous avons un protocole qui nous établit, nous, dans le pays, donc nous pouvons suivre et nous pouvons continuer à suivre ce protocole-là.
Alors,
oui.
l'autre aspect, moi, interrompu, Jagdish, c'est par rapport à à protocole qui, selon Pravin Jagnat, fin respecté par rapport à une délégation qui fait une vie à Maurice.
Oui, là, il peut dire, parce que Pravin, c'est-à-dire le leader de l'opposition, Xavier Duval, peut dire, bizarre prendre une décision beaucoup plus ferme, il ne faut pas un passe-droit, accepter qu'il y ait un jet privé vienne dans le pays, nous sommes très sévères au niveau de la fermeture des frontières, nous ne faut pas une flexibilité, et le Pravin Jagnat peut dire absolument qu'il n'y a aucun passe-droit, toute bonne décision peut prendre, peut respecter, alors donc, certainement, pour protéger la population, pour protéger le pays, et ça protocole-là, il peut maintenir comme il était. Donc, absolument, une délégation qui n'arrivait, il peut dire, parmi les dernières délégations qui le pays il recevoir, finalement, le ministre des Affaires étrangères de l'Inde, qui fin vini, également le président des CCL. Donc, ça, là, je fin vini avec une délégation, mais seulement, d'après le Premier ministre, une décision, c'est-à-dire une norme sanitaire, une directive au niveau du respect du protocole sanitaire. Tout ça là, les respecter. Et Xavier Duval, il fait mention de l'excessive, c'est-à-dire le fine, l'amende de 500 000 roupies qu'il est qualifié comme étant excessive quand il arrête quelqu'un qui porte le masque.
Voilà donc pour cette séance de la PNQ. Merci à vous, Jagdish Joypal.
Oui, et nous rappelle à nos auditeurs que la séance du Parlement est continue et il y a environ 15 questions que le Premier ministre n'a pour répondre. Et ça, c'est une question qui est posée par un député du gouvernement et de l'opposition. Et en même temps, pour les autres questions d'interpellation donc qui pour continuer séparément pour les autres ministres répondre jusqu'à au moins 13 heures.
Merci Jagdish pour toutes ces précisions. Voilà pour cette séance de la PNQ à venir à 13h, le journal présenté par Doushila Mansingh.